Hi, Mark Kohler here with another tax and legal tip. I want to talk about writing off your auto in 2018. Now that includes your SUV, your truck, leased vehicle, regular car, all the above. Let's hit it. You got to know the new rules for 2018. Okay, now I'm going to break down the basics. There's a lot here, and I've got longer videos on my website in my tax and legal library, probably 20-30 minutes just on auto. Now there's two methods you want to be aware of. There's mileage and actual. Now, probably 80 to 90% of my clients over the last 15 years, we see this historical pattern that mileage is the way to go. It's simple, it's easy. And in 2018, probably like 2018 up here, you can write off 54.5 for business miles. That's 54.5 cents per mile. That's pretty sweet. I mean, you put on 10,000 miles, $5,400 deduction, 20,000 miles, double that, right? So you're over 10K in write-offs for 20,000 miles in business. Do your best to track your mileage. I've got an app that is a great deal on my newsletter. You can see it every week on ways to track your mileage with the GPS app. Now, the next mileage you want to worry about is medical and moving. I don't know why moving is such a big deal. Only the armed service active duty members can now write off the moving expense in 2018. But 18 cents is medical and moving. So you want to keep track of those. If you do a lot of driving for medical reasons, that would be a great write-off. And then 14 cents for charitable. So if you're doing charitable service, you can write off the miles there. Again, if you're going to be itemizing. Lots of changes in 2018. You got to be watching my videos to get better updates on, am I going to really itemize and do charitable? Moving's going to be a long shot. So these are just questionable. But here's where the money's at when it comes to mileage. Now, actual, there's three main options when it comes to actual. So let's kind of break this down here and into these three ways to write off actual. The first one is with a car. A car is your first way that you're going to maybe buy a car and write off the actual. Now what this means is you're going to depreciate the car, take fuel repairs, maintenance, and all those things, not a mileage. And once you choose a method, you're stuck with it. Whatever vehicle you use a method for, mileage or actual, you got to stay with it. Car and it is option one. Then you have the SUV, truck, and then there's a big truck option. I'll mention that briefly too. And then there's leasing. These are your three main options of how you might write off actual expenses. Okay, now for the car in 2018, it got better, yes. And the new legislation, there's a few golden nuggets. This is one of them. And they changed the definition of a luxury car. Anything over $50,000 is now luxury, and under that, you can depreciate the car fully in 6 years. And that's almost, and I think it's 71% or more of it you can depreciate in the first 3 years, and there's even bonus depreciation of up to $8,000. So if you want to buy a car under $58,000 or less, this is a great way to take depreciation and then fuel repairs and maintenance. Now you're going to want to compare it against the mileage. Typically, if you're going to use the car less and not put on as many miles, going actual might be the way to go. If you're going to burn a ton of miles, mileage might be the better method. So you want to kind of do the math both ways. Now for the SUV and truck, nothing's really changed. If you buy something that weighs more than 6,000 gross vehicle weight, you can write off up to 25 grand right out of the gate and then depreciate the rest just like you did over here over 6 years. That's pretty sweet. Now if you buy a truck that is got a 6-foot bed or greater, or it's a delivery truck, flatbed truck, van, you can actually write it the whole thing off potentially in one big shot. The 179 deduction is $1 million, so whew, boy, you're good to go there. So you can write off a lot of the bigger vehicle, if not all of it. Now you've got to take the percentage of use of how much is personal use, but if it's 100% business, this is a big deal. Now leasing is the other option, and a lot of clients will go lease because it's a better economic value. A lot of times you can lease a luxury auto for a lot less than buying, and then in 3 years, give it back and get a new one. Now, you've got to be careful of the mileage limits. This is a big deal, and you want to be careful of that from an economic standpoint. But leasing oftentimes works really well for clients of mine, and you get to write off the chunk of the leasing expense that's business versus personal, and then fuel and repairs and maintenance. But be cautious of the leasing again, because it can be a bad economic decision if you're going to put on a lot of miles. Where I see clients use the leasing method is if they've got a car for commuting or a truck for business, and then the leased vehicle is the luxury auto to really schmooze those certain clients, or just have that nice car to go for certain business trips or something like that, but watch out for the mileage limits. In summary, you can see there's a lot of strategy involved in which car is the best tax write-off, and really you've got to weigh that against the best economic decision. I've got more reading information on my blog at markjkohler.com and videos that are much more in depth to help you get to the right spot on your auto purchase. But good luck, keep living the American dream, and make sure you're aware of these new rules in 2018. A lot to know. It's going to help you succeed. Thanks so much for watching, and if you found that helpful, please look in the description below. I've got links to my tax and legal library, my QuickBooks training videos, how to start a small business, 50, 60, 70 videos, some as long as 30 minutes explaining more information on tax and legal strategies that will change your life. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to my newsletter or check out my social media links, please click here. They're weekly free tips and strategies and articles that you'll find extremely helpful. And I would appreciate it if you'd subscribe to my channel. I've got so many videos here I produce every week on my YouTube channel, and I'd love to give you a ping every time I shoot a new video. Thanks so much, and keep living the American dream.